Hey, y'all. Hey, welcome back to my channel. Hey, Shannon. Hey, Jenny Moore. What's up? How y'all doing this fine Tuesday afternoon here on the West Coast, East Coast? You guys are kind of winding down your evening. How's your evening going? She said, okay, ads, come on now. Listen. Okay. Yes, ads are very, very important. And speaking of ads, yes, that's the least you can do for a channel that you support and love, a content creator like myself. Watching the ads before you come in, not skipping over them or whatever. So yeah, y'all, welcome to Real Talk with Melissa Varian. I'm your host, Melissa Varian. And we just gonna get into a few things today, but of course you read from the title, you already know what we're gonna be talking about. Mr. Dave Chappelle is under fire, then he's not under fire, and then he's fired, whatever. Okay, and so I wanted to get into that and talk about that and kind of jump into the conversation about that. So y'all come along with me. You already know, if you're new to this channel, make sure that you hit the subscribe button, the like button, but most of all, I like subscribers that interact in the chat. Bring up questions, give me, oh girl, or oh boy, or whatever it is. So anyway, I can't, oh yes. And she said, and smash that like button. Absolutely. Just me. Hey, mod extraordinaire. Good to see you. So y'all, it's Tuesday. I have on a sweater, and normally I don't even need a sweater at home. But I do have my air conditioner on because I'm the type of person, rain, sleet, hell, I have the air conditioner on because I'm always hot some kind of way. But now I'm cold. But it's sunny out. I usually tell y'all how the weather is here in Arizona. It's sunny. We're entering into our cool season where it's really cool, and cool for us is 80s, 90s, 100s. Where you guys are going down to the 30s, 20s, or whatever. God bless you. I lived in it. Don't want no parts of it. So that's that. The pool we should be putting water in by this Friday, because they come in tomorrow to put the Pebble Tech or Pebble Shine or whatever it's called to make the inside of it the color that it's going to be and nice and pretty. So by Friday, definitely by Friday, we should be putting water in the pool. We're super, super excited about that. And what else is going on? Just life, y'all. Just life. God is so good. And yeah, I ain't gonna hold y'all. We're gonna jump right into it. So it's Tuesday. There's been a lot of breaking news, all kind of stuff going on in this world. And I said, you know what? Today I'm gonna speak on some things that's been kind of controversial. But you know what? I'm gonna come from the place of love. So I got my love chain on. So let's get into the conversation. I already said my hellos. Hey, Uncle Stu. Hey. You know what? Before we get to the Dave Chappelle bit, I wanted to drop a little information about some things that I came across. So anyway, let's share the first screen. So if you are familiar with Netflix shows, so Netflix has Squid Games. I know most of y'all know about, what's it called? Cocomelon. Jeez Louise. If you don't know anything about Cocomelon and you have a kid under a certain age, you just not living right. Let me tell you something. Our kids are 16 and our babies are 16 rather, but we also have adults. And it wasn't until, like, I saw the TikToks and stuff like that about playing the Cocomelon song and all of that.
But I didn't see that thing come into play until my little cousin niece moved up here and we started doing it. And that was one of the things the kids would play. I mean, I don't care if it was 11 o'clock at night. It was like that girl, you would hear, she'd be like, oh, Coco Melon? Coco Melon is on. Listen, those kids they're a bit hypnotized about Miss Coco Melon. Well, the good news is that Coco Melon merch is now being sold in partnership with Walmart. So Netflix has partnered with Walmart and they have decided to make some merch. So they're going to have Squid Game. So again, those of you, unless you've been living on the rock, everybody's talking about this Squid Game. Me personally, I tried to watch it. Super, super gory. That wasn't a problem, but I think it just moved way too slow for me. It felt like, and y'all know exactly what I'm about to say. You know what I mean? If you watch any Tyler Perry thing, you know how Tyler Perry take 4 episodes to get one sentence out? That's how Squid Games felt for me. Like, hurry up, get to the point. Who's winning, who's not, or whatever. But the killing and the gore, absolutely. It's Squid Games is it. If you like gore, go right there. But storyline wise, so slow. Well, anyway, if you're fans of Squid Game, if you're fans of Coco Melon, Stranger Things, that was another big hit on Netflix at one time. And the other Netflix shows merchandise go on sale via Walmart in a new partnership. So you'll be able to get, merchandise representing these brands. And I thought that was interesting, especially for those of you with little ones, because you get the light up shoes and the this and that and the other, but Coco Melon, listen, people are right there with it. So I don't necessarily have a problem with Netflix branching out with Walmart and collaborating. That's what it's all about. Ended up getting the merch. Listen, Netflix is here to stay, I think. And Netflix is doing their thing. And part of doing their thing, they are partnered with Walmart, who's another big giant. Walmart's not going nowhere. I don't care how mad you get at Walmart. Leave a comment down below if you think Walmart and Netflix listen. We will be seeing the end of days if Walmart and Netflix go bankrupt or whatever. So I don't have a problem with this partnership. I think it's good, especially for those of you who, like let me see. I don't really buy my kids like the Coco Melon shoes or nothing like that. I'm not going to lie. I never did. However, graphic tees are huge, has been huge for at least the last 10, 15 years. So to get a Coco Melon graphic tee for your little kiddo or a Stranger Things or Squid Games, why not? Everybody else is doing merch for it. So why not? So I thought that would be something. Y'all leave a comment down below. Which of these brands, which of these shows would you buy a graphic tee or different merch for? Would it be Coco Melon for your kids? Would you buy for Squid Games? What would you do? Me personally, I know I'd probably buy my cousin niece Coco Melon for sure. Coco Melon, listen. I mean, she stops in her tracks and she is going to it. So definitely Coco Melon. Okay. Did you see Boraman got invited to? Yes, girl. Yes, we'll talk about that if I have time. Yes, he was zipping and zooing. It wasn't. Listen, just me. I'm great, and you. So they're talking to each other. Hey, Mosaic, greetings and salutations, everyone. Greetings. I'm old. I have no idea what those shows are because my kids are grown. Same. My kids are grown. But like I said, my cousin niece came to visit. Plus, if you're on TikTok and everything, like my favorite TikTok is the one where they play the song and the kids are like upstairs and the parents are on the bottom of the stairs. And as soon as they play the intro, and for those of you that don't know, the intro is not even a full, song. It's just a sound. Like, and those kids came running, and the one little girl slid down the stairs. She was like, "Oh, Coco Melon, I'm here for it." Okay. So I thought that was funny. But anyway, y'all leave a comment down below. Let me know if this is something that you're like, okay, no problem, Netflix. I say, listen, get your bag legally as you can, however you can. I'm not for any company doing anything illegally. So anyway, that's great. What's next? So y'all, what I learned about most of my subscribers and us, and what a lot of people don't know about me is that I enjoy the court shows. Judge Judy, Judge Mathis, Judge Lynn Toller is like my big sister in my head. Judge Maybelline is like my auntie in my head. Judge Mathis. I am a judge connoisseur. Even the crazy judge, the more conservative judges. And I'm trying to, I will watch, but I'm trying to get into the judge panels, like when there's more than one judge on the panel. I forgot what that was called, but I like paternity court. That's a panel one. I like judge shows. And so as a result of that, you become connected to the different judges and their bailiffs and everything else like that. So as a result, I was a little heartbroken to find out that Byrd on Judge Judy was not going to be returning. Y'all get into this. So if you watch Judge Judy, you already know Byrd is a main staple for, let me find it. There we go. For Judge Judy. There he is. There's Byrd. Byrd has been standing along her side for so many years. And Judge Judy, he did an interview. That's what it is. He did an interview, and he is the bailiff. And he said that he was really surprised. One could even suggest blindsided that he was not going to be returning to the show. Now, if you watch the show, Byrd and Judge Judy seemed like they had the best chemistry and everything. I can only chalk this up to business, but also leave a comment down below if you are a fan of Judge Judy as I am. I believe that Byrd was just as much a part of the brand as Judge Judy is the brand. I think he was just a part of it. Like if something was going on, he didn't say much, but when he did, or when she referred to him, he had something to say. So Judge Judy Bailiff, Petrie Hawkins Byrd, speaks out on not being asked to join the new show, Judy Justice. So Byrd worked with Judy Scheindlin for roughly 25 years. So what it sounds like is it's going to be a whole nother show, Judy Justice. And they were like, but we don't want Byrd. So what do you do, friends? What do? You in Judge Judy's shoes. They're talking and shopping a new show. And they're like, this is like a Destiny's Child question. Kelly, do you take your moment? Or you're like, no, I want to take Beyonce and Michelle with me. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think Judge Judy should do. Fight for Byrd to be along with her. What do you think? Love Judge Judy, mean ass. Yes, she is so mean. Listen, I love Judge Judy and I love Byrd. I feel like they're a brand together. But you know what? I understand business, first of all. And I understand marketing and trying to reinvent Judge Judy. Because the thing about it is that I don't know. I'm going to read a little bit more of the article because I don't even know why they're doing Judy Justice unless there's a different premise for the show. Because to me, Judge Judy, the show was enough, but maybe they're trying to rebrand and make it be something a little bit differently. So a little bit different. So it says her longtime bailiff Byrd spoke out about not being invited to join her new television show, Judy Justice, after working for her for 25 years. Very interesting. I would feel some kind of way only if they decide to have another bailiff. Now, if she doesn't have a bailiff, then I'm going to be like 1% mad. But if she has a different bailiff, Judge, you have some splaining to do because Byrd was blindsided and he didn't do anything allegedly. So Byrd is perhaps known for the fans for his no-nonsense bailiff who made sure no one got out of line. Yeah, he protected her for sure. He says, my assumption is if you were going to do something else, that you were at least going to ask me if I wanted to have an opportunity to audition for the role. There you have it. So that was my question. Okay. I liked Byrd, but it sounds like he didn't even get an opportunity to audition for the role, the new role. So y'all let me know, like, Judge Judy, please explain. Why didn't Byrd even know that there was? So I like Byrd because I was looking for the hookup, so to speak. I'm coming with the package with Judge Judy. But Byrd said, you know what? I'm not even trying to get the role without auditioning. Why didn't you at least let me audition? I think it's unfortunate. I don't want to see Byrd without work. After 25 years, I pray that he managed his money very well and everything. And I hope he gets another gig for sure. Fox News, in a statement provided to Fox News, Judge Judy confirmed that Byrd is not going to be working as a bailiff on her new show. Wow. So it's a new show. Byrd allegedly was not asked to join. She said, Byrd is terrific and we had great 25-year run. This is a whole new program with a whole new cast and exciting energy. Wow, so he wasn't exciting? And it can't be a whole new cast because you're on it, Judge Judy. Anyway, unfortunately, the bailiff was not able to devote too much of his attention to not being asked to join Judy Justice. After filming Wrapped for Judge Judy, he devoted his time to caring for his wife, Makita Byrd. She worked as a longtime producer on Judge Judy as well, and was reportedly invited onto the Judy Justice, but health problems made that impossible. Interesting twist. So they didn't ask Byrd back, but they asked his wife back. But because she's dealing with health issues, she declined. Wow, very interesting. So I'm gonna wait, and I'm gonna give Judge Judy kind of like a pass, so to speak, because I want to see what the platform is. It may not even be a need for a bailiff. So I have to see. And I'm not gonna say that, she was being some kind of way, because she asked for Byrd's wife to join in. And if for whatever reason she couldn't take advantage of that opportunity because she had health issues. The outlet reports that she had just completed her third round of chemotherapy. Therapy. Boom. There it is. And was about to undergo brain surgery, where doctors successfully removed 95% of a tumor. After the worst of his family strife was behind him, Byrd says he gave his former boss a call to ask her if he should plan to be involved with the new show after working there since '96. He says, so after his wife has a bout with cancer, surgery, and everything, he's got his head clear. And now Byrd calls Judge Judy and is like, okay, can I expect to be a part of this new cast? He says, she informed me I was not being asked to come along on the project. I didn't inquire as to why. That's her choice. But she did inform me that fundamentally I was priced out as the new bailiff on her new show. Okay. My salary would have been too much. I was curious, how would she know? She didn't ask me. She didn't give me an opportunity to accept a lower salary. So, of course, this news did not come without a tweet storm, and Twitter responded and everything. And Diver on Twitter says, Judge Judy is a scumbag. She didn't bring her old bailiff to the new show because he made too much money. Yet, she wants to remain the highest paid person on TV. Nice. So if you know anything about Judge Judy, she is paid really, really well. So, was it a matter that she was like, you're not getting in my bag? I know the budget ain't but so much. So again, I understand business is business, and sometimes it's cutthroat. And for some people, this appears to be cutthroat, like I just read the tweet. Somebody said, now I'm mad because Judge Judy didn't invite the bailiff to her new show. I would have at least wanted an invite. I would have at least gave him the opportunity to say, no, I'm not working for that. That's just me. It's something about Hollywood when there's a team and there's deals for side deals and upper bills and, deals and everything. I think about Ryan and Kelly and Michael Strahan. And a lot of times people are blindsided because my partner in crime, my co-host, went and did something else and didn't take me along. The truth of the matter is, I hate to say it this way, unless you are married or that's your child, you look out for yourself, because it is clear that is a hard lesson to learn as an employee, as a business person, or whatever. I'm not saying be completely selfish. That's not what I'm saying. But ultimately, you have to look out for your best interest, because no one else is going to do that in business. And Judge Judy just proved that. Very few work relations is going to be where your boss is going to be like, well, let me think about Melissa and what she thinks about this. So yeah, it's gonna happen in Hollywood. It's gonna happen, period. You can have a team. There's very few teams, Sonny and Cher. They were able to stay together. The brother and sister, Donnie and Marie, the Jacksons, but then they even split up. But ultimately, to me, I wouldn't, I would be feel some kind of way, but I wouldn't let it get in the way, because ultimately I understand business is business, production is production. And true, and what it sounds like to me is that Judge Judy was like, look, you're not gonna get it, you're not gonna get in my bag. So paying you what you're worth makes me get less. I'm not bringing you along. So let's see. Uncle Sue says Hollywood always separate groups all the time. They do. Kenan and Kel is a rare, is a modern one that we could think of, where they were together as a team and Kenan went off and his career exploded. Kel went a different way. He didn't go the Hollywood way. What is it called? Saturday Night Live and different things like that. To me, Kel is still rebuilding to me, or building, because if you know his story, he was up, he was down and everything. Big Guy Journey says Judge Joe Brown and Judge Judy is scheduled for celebrity judge boxing match. Okay. They are ready. That is going to be interesting. Wait, you mean they're scheduled to box? Or you mean their show is so volatile that it's like they're boxing? Leave a comment down below. Let me know, because now I have to research that. But hey, shout out to you, Big Guy Journey. Hello. Uncle Stu says this must be a production issue. I think it's a production issue, but it also sounds like it's money. But you know what? She runs Ish and she wants him there. He would have been there. She knows she could have kept him. That's what I'm thinking. It says something about her to me that she didn't give him an opportunity to even negotiate the salary. It was just like, I know he's not going to accept that. And even if that's what she feels, pick up the phone. You've been working with someone very closely for 25 years. You pick up the phone and you say, hey, listen, I want to bring you along, but I don't think what we're offering you will take. And then let him say, well, I'll take it. Because how many of you know, and leave a comment down below, sometimes you have to take something depending on where you are in life. I've taken jobs that I didn't necessarily want to take, or I've done things that I didn't necessarily want to do at a lesser value because it was a means to an end, is what I'm saying. So yeah. So we talked about that. He's laughing. Just kidding. Well, listen, that goes to show you the caliber of their shows, if I really believed it. Because I was like, I can see it. But then in my head, I was like, Judge Judy kind of old. But then I was like, you know what? Judge Joe Brown old too. But the thing is, one thing about that little spunky lady, if you follow her personally, she may be old, she may be tiny, but Judge Judy is fit. Okay. She's fit. Sidebar. As I was reading this, I'm wondering this is just a complete sidebar. I'm wondering if politics came into play with this, because the last year and a half election cycle, pre-election, it was very, very noticeable who was for the people, and when I say the people, I don't mean just Black people. I just mean the people. Who was for the people, who was government, who was wanting, who had terrible ideals about all kind of stuff. And yes, who supported, the proper policing and respectful policing of Black people, whatever. So, again, y'all know me. I'm very imaginative. Was Byrd like, Black Lives Matter? And I don't mean an organization. I mean, just generally Black Lives Matter, and then was Judge Judy like, make America great again? So I don't know if there was some clash with that. I don't know, because honestly, now that I don't remember what Judge Judy's politics are. And I definitely did. I mean, I like Byrd, but I don't follow him or anything to know, but that's just on my brain. So yeah, some of you are thinking that this is production. Shannon says, Kel is doing a lot of Nickelodeon shows. Yes. Kel was doing a lot of Nickelodeons, but I read something about his journey since the Kenan and Kel show. And I think just when you compare them side by side, if you want to compare it to having a Hollywood story, I think Kenan definitely made it bigger than Kel. One Love fam, a lot of this is due folks not being repped by the same agent or people not offering package deals. Salt and Pepper is a good example. People only wanted to book Salt and Pepper and not spend. I know. Very good point, XDMC, my resident knowledge expert, that's the word. my resident expert on Hollywood producing, the backdoor end of things and everything. And you're absolutely right. Sometimes it's a package deal, and sometimes they have two different representatives. And I remember the story with Salt and Pepper. And to me, Spin made the group. To me, it's so weird. And I think we also see this with Mary Mary. I feel like people like Tina or want to book Tina for stuff more so than the other sister, who I can't even name. Like, why can't I name her name? Wait, Tina, Erica, not Tina. The one that's married to a pastor, Erica. Okay. I think people want to book her, and she's more marketable, but yeah. I came in late. I don't know exactly what's going on. Well, big guy, we're talking about, well, we just got finished talking about Walmart branding, teaming up with Netflix and branding things, and then branding merch. And then, so you're going to have to catch that replay. But now we're talking about Judge Judy. I'm a Judge show connoisseur. So I thought this was very interesting and near dear to my heart because I like Byrd. And so again, let me scroll down and show you who Byrd is. Byrd will not be joining Judge Judy on her new show. It looks like the idea of her show is being rebranded and everything. And we're just discussing, okay, why isn't he brought along with her? So you're going to have to catch the replay. And speaking of replays, if you're just tuning in, make sure that you catch the replay. Gang to all my replay gang, y'all already know, leave a comment and I will definitely comment back. So join in on the conversation. Would you buy Coco Melon merch? Do you think Netflix is doing team too much? And then of course this topic right here where we're talking about Byrd. And ultimately I understand with Hollywood, business is business. If you're liking my channel, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to this channel, and don't forget to hit the notification bell. Right now, do it. Right now, do it. So I know why you're here. You heard from the title, you read the title, and you're like, okay, are we going to get to Dave for Chappelle? We absolutely are. But, I had to get to this other stuff before we get to Dave. But anyway, yes, Byrd will not be joining the show, and she's getting some backlash. Not huge backlash, it's not, huge. But anyway, next story. Y'all, I wasn't hesitant because if you know me, I'll talk about anything and I don't have a problem with that. But on the heels of the Dave Chappelle thing, and then this came out, and I was like, my ultimate top of the brain answer is why. Why what, Melissa? What are you talking about? Well, DC Comics. And here's the thing. I'm not huge on comics like that. I'm not, but my family is. My husband watches all that stuff. And my kids argue Marvel versus DC and all of that. My brother had a huge collection growing up and all of that. And I know it's a big market for DC, Marvel, whatever. Like, Black Panther versus, and again, excuse me, those of you that are watching, he's like, she's messing this up terribly. I don't mean to mess it up because I know there's a difference. I think Black Panther is Marvel. DC is dealing with Superman. And speaking of Superman, my friends, DC Comics is now branding a bisexual Superman. That's right, friends. You heard it. Your favorite childhood hero group, one of them has now and will be now branded as bisexual. And I guess it goes back to my original question. Why? Why? Not why to argue anything about sexuality or whatever, just why are we even bringing that into the conversation? Now, one thing I do know is that there is sometimes a sexual element, to the comics, male, female, whatever. But I just think, I don't know. It's just why. Write the stories. Don't push any one thing to whatever. Just give us Superman. I'm telling you. And the reason why I say why is because when I was knee-high to 4 apples, I didn't think about whether Superman was gay. Wonder Woman is my girl. Like my absolute favorite DC or Marvel. Y'all forgive me, okay? Character was Wonder Woman. I loved Wonder Woman, but I never thought, I wonder if she's gay. I wonder if she kissed Superman. That never came to my mind. So, with that being said, what is the point of adding this bisexual element to this cartoon character or this comic character? So, leave a comment down below. If you have a way to explain this to me, why this is valid, why this is a good idea. Y'all already know we have tough conversations over here. The next set of comments, the next story, Dave Chappelle's story, gonna be a little tough too, for reasons I don't know. I don't know why that's tough, but that's a whole nother thing. So leave a comment down below if you're a proponent, if you're a supporter of this, and you're like, I get it. But one of the characters that was a long-standing actor on the DC Comics brand, he was not here for it. His name is Dean Cain. He blasts DC Comics' new bisexual Superman as bandwagoning. And so I don't know what he means by bandwagoning, but I can assume what he means is you're just going along with the trend. That's the thing to say. And of course, Cardi said this a couple of days ago, where she was like, the idea of non-binary and all of that was a trend. And again, I don't shy away from conversations in any of these conversations, because you know what? We're allowed to have our opinions. And there seems to be a notion that, see, I'm getting into my Dave Chappelle spiel. So that's next. I'm not even going to get into that. So anyway, Dean blasts DC Comics bandwagon. He's a 55-year-old actor who starred in the ABC series Lois and Clark, The New Adventures of Superman from 93 to 97. So those of you that are really, really fans, you remember that. He took jabs at the comic book publisher during an interview on Fox and Friends on Tuesday. He said, they said it's a bold new direction. I say they're bandwagoning. He said, Robin just came out as bi. Who's really shocked about that one? The new Captain America is gay. My daughter is in the TV series, he says on the side. Supergirl, where I played the father, that's gay, was gay. Let me read that again. My daughter in the Supergirl series, where I played the father, was gay. So I don't think it's about bold or brave or some crazy new direction. If they had done this 20 years ago, perhaps that would be bold and brave. So what he's saying is this is not common. It's a pattern. It's not bold and brave. It's in our face. It's here to stay. And so like he's saying, they want to market it as bold and brave. Yes, 20, 30 years ago, absolutely bold and brave. But I just don't understand. Like, okay. The actor continued on his on-air rant. Brave would be having him fighting for the rights of gay people in Iran, where they'll throw you off a building for the offense of being gay. Very good point. They're talking about having him fight climate change and the deportation of refugees, and he's dating a hacktivist, whatever a hacktivist is. Y'all, that's a new term. That's a new term. Leave a comment down below. I don't know what a hacktivist is. Is that an activist that actively hacks things? I don't know, y'all. Superman is now bisexual. Black. Uncle Stu says this community is causing America to no longer have freedom of speech anymore. Our government is going down fast. Politics is the main reason. The ABCD community wants everyone to accept their lifestyles, so they're pushing their ideas by any means necessary. Big guy says, a girly Superman, shaking my head. Renee says, hello, Melissa. I was in the grocery store when my notification went off. I would do the replay. Hey, Renee, thank you for your continued support. I feel like I know you and all of you really that just come in and show the support. I love it. So shout out to the replay game. Yep, Superman's son is taking over the mantle of Superman, and his son is bisexual. Okay. He's saying that they're just being followers, not being brave. Exactly. That's what he's saying. Like you just, there's nothing brave about it. You're doing what everyone else is doing. And that's what I said. Like if they would have came out with this 20, 30 years ago, that's brave, because that was not as common. It was not, what's trending, and whether you like it or not, it's a trending topic these days. So sister, hello, good to see you. So very interesting. So this is where we're at in America with the DC comics. So yeah, leave a comment down below, answer those questions that I had. Uncle Stu says it's politics. It's a little bit of all. Social programming, it's the media, politics, and then outright, some people just feel like they, I have to say there's at least 1% of it. Oh, I want me represented in comics or whatever. So I guess my question, I don't know. I was gonna say, I guess my question is, then why don't you come up with a character? But then again, I really don't understand why it has its place in comics. But I guess I'm also thinking, leave a comment down below. Let me know if you look at these DC Marvel comics, is this marketing to adults or is this marketing to children? And I don't say that from an ostrich sand head in the sand point of view. I just want to know who we're marketing to. Who do you think they're marketing to? Because if this adult content, is this adult content? Let me see. Is this adult content? Look at the eyes. Look at the lips. Or are we marketing towards children? That's what I want to know. Who are we marketing to? That would be the beginning right there. Because I'm telling you, when we were growing up, you look at Superman, Batman, like it's just Saturday morning. I'm sitting there, and yes, there was a bit of programming happening there because, of course, Saturday cartoons, say no to drugs, whatever it was, but it wasn't dealing with. It was where the kids were at. It was where we were at as viewers. Mary Brown says both. Okay, Mary. Thanks for the input. It's agenda driven. Okay, big guy. Yeah, it's driven by a lot of stuff, So we're gonna keep the conversation going because I'm very curious to see how this will roll out and to see, whatever the backlash will be surrounding it. Speaking of backlash, if you're liking my channel, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to this channel, and don't forget to hit the notification bell. Right now, do it. Right now, do it. So, y'all, welcome back to my channel. This is Melissa, Real Talk with Melissa Berrien. I am Melissa. I am your host. And we are here breaking down some breaking news, trending topics. And now, speaking of trending, when this story first broke a couple of days ago, I was, I always don't jump on a story because I want to see how it's going to go, how it's going to trend, what's going to be the reaction to it. So Dave Chappelle, let me X out of that. Dave Chappelle announced that he was going to do his last Netflix catalog, the series in his Netflix catalog. So if you don't know, he has a catalog of work that is on Netflix, and this last one, The Closer, it was his said to be his last one. With it being his last one, it was a great marketing around that, but more importantly, once it aired, he received so much backlash about him being homophobic and all this stuff. So then I began, to watch and see what everyone was saying. Then a CEO over at Netflix ended up being suspended because she was sharing articles about the fact that he is perceived as a homophobic or whatever. At this point, I hadn't watched the show because I was like, okay, I'm not going to watch it yet. At first, I wasn't going to watch it. Then I was like, okay, he's really getting some backlash from this cancel culture. And cancel culture has its place, in my opinion, but generally speaking, it's ridiculous and it's absolutely out of hand. I think that there are some people that should be canceled. Now, that doesn't mean that they should be canceled in life. That doesn't mean that, grace shouldn't be shown to them. But basically what I'm saying, there's some people that should be fired. They don't belong in certain arenas. That's just my opinion. Now, there's some people that are being canceled because of their point of view, because of their opinion. And I don't think that that's right. Now, if their opinion, point of view is toxic in the sense that is invoking violence, it is invoking any type of harm to another group, then absolutely. And I can honestly say, as someone who has watched most of Dave Chappelle's catalog on Netflix, I don't think that that's what he was doing. And so Dave Chappelle doubled down, even when he did the closer, as he was telling the jokes. And I'll talk about that here in a minute. As he was telling the jokes, he said, they're going to come for me for this. He said, but they have to understand, in essence, I'm paraphrasing. He was like, you can't cancel me. I'm the same dude when you tried to cancel me before, I walked away from a $50 million deal. You can't cancel me. And here's the thing, I feel that way. And I feel like other people who create content, whether it's comedy, entertainers, especially, should walk in that type of power. You're not going to control my voice. Now, again, if you're inciting terrorism, hurting someone, different things like that, then no, and I don't want to even use the term cancel. Just you don't need to be, you need to be held responsible for your words. So there was backlash behind that. That was yesterday where the person that worked at Netflix got suspended. Dave Chappelle came out and he was like, listen, if this is what canceling looks like as a result of you guys responding to my series, I'm fine with it. If this is what cancel culture looks like. And what I took that as, y'all making me money. So go right ahead. And the other part about that is he really just doesn't care in that regard. And I think that, yes, we should care to about 1% of us should care about what people have to say or whatever. But the truth of the matter is you're not going to get that power to control me. Okay. Thank you, Shannon. My point exactly. So with this notion, I decided, I was like, okay, I'm going to watch the series because I want to do a commentary on it. And I want to bring it to the people and I want us to decide. First and foremost, I want you guys to let me know, without using the R word and different things like that, who deserves to be, if someone did, they deserve to be canceled. Leave a comment down below. And so for me, let's start the conversation off like this. Forget that what I just said. Can anybody cancel anybody, really? No, that is my opinion. You can't cancel me. Now, you may pull your advertisement. You may say, I don't think that you're going to be a fit for our production. Look at Byrd. Byrd was canceled, so to speak. But the truth of the matter is, as it relates to life, because a lot of these entertainers, and I'm going to talk more about this here in a few seconds, a lot of these entertainers, a lot of people in Hollywood, when they are getting a backlash, they cannot take it. And not only can they not take it, bad things happens as a result to them. They end up in rehab and all this other stuff because they're not getting the support, the accolades and everything that they're normally getting because they were canceled. But I'm here to tell you that as long as we have our freedoms, you can't be canceled, as far as I'm concerned. You may have no advertisers. Yes, if you're in Hollywood, you can be blackballed and blacklisted and all, however. But the truth of the matter is, you being who you are in the core of who you are, do not give anybody the power to cancel you. Meaning, let's explore this word cancel. You are no longer relevant. And we all are relevant in our own little ways. Meaning, we don't want anything to do with you or whatever. Again, that has its place in Hollywood. But some of these people are taking this to life. So anyway, I said, you know what? I'm going to watch it. And y'all, not only did I watch it 3 times because I wanted to make sure. Because I'm reading tweets and people are like, I don't see anything. And oh, he's so horrible and da-da-da-da-da. Before I get into telling you exactly what I thought about the show, the Netflix series with Dave Chappelle, like I said, I watched it 3 times and I took notes. And I brought the notes here so that I can go over them because I didn't want to miss anything. And I never bring notes to my show. But today I had to because I wanted to respond responsibly. So let's see what happens here. Let's listen.
Done about this. The problem is
let me rewind.
His team women's looks about genitalia. He has a new Netflix special out where he jokes about trans women's looks about genitalia. Tells a story about beating up a lesbian woman. Now Chappelle says that he is team TERF, T-E-R-F, referencing the term for trans exclusionary radical feminist.
You don't see that?
Cancel J.K. Rowling. My God, J.K. Rowling wrote all the Harry Potter books by herself. She sold so many books, the Bible worries about her. And they canceled her because she said in an interview, and this is not exactly what she said, but effectually, she said, gender was a fact. And then the trans community got mad and they started calling her a TERF. So I looked it up.
I didn't even know that there was a such thing as a saying as a TERF.
TERF is an acronym. Stands for Trans Exclusionary Radical Feminist. I'm Team TERF. I agree. Man. Gender is a fact.
Right, so joining me now is activist and writer Raquel Willis. Raquel, thank you for joining us. I really appreciate it. So let's talk about some things here and why there's been such criticism and
such criticism, and I believe a lot of them didn't even watch it. They couldn't have, but go ahead.
What we come up with here. Because he made the jokes. The critics are saying, look, you have to consider what's happening during this last historic year of anti-transgender legislation introduced at least in 33 states, less than a year after a record high number of transgender people, most of them trans women of color, were killed. So what did you think, and you have to keep in mind, he is a comedian, right? But what did you think when you heard this?
Well, when I watched the special, I felt kind of disheartened that he was continuing this attack on the trans community. Now, I think we love to say, oh, comedian.
All right, so that's her take. It was an attack on the trans community. Okay? And then this is a different take from someone else Storm Moreau, if you don't know, Flame Moreau. It's not Storm, forgive me. Flame Moreau.
I'm Black. I am a comedian and I am transgendered. So I have 3 dogs in this fight, and I want to be fair to each and every one of those platforms. What I heard from Dave Chappelle's latest special was the overpouring of racism that he talked about, because I understand that he's talked about the transgender community, and some of the things were painful to hear, but funny, because as a comedian, that is our safe place. That is where we are the safest on stage, where we should feel like we should be able to say anything. Nina Simone said it best. How can you be an artist and not speak about the times? He says...
That's good. How can you be an artist and not speak about the times? And I'm going to end it there. Only because I want to get into most of my commentary. How can you be an artist, whether you are creating art, mixed media, you are creating music, you're creating comedy? A true artist knows the times and they capitalize on it, because that's where we're at. So we have one transgender person that came out and said, oh my goodness, it was harassment. He's doubled down on his stance. It was horrible. Then you have Flame Moreau, who said, listen, I have 3 dogs in this fight. I'm a male, transgender, I'm a comedian, whatever. So Flame went on to say other things, but he was basically saying he's a comedian. Allow him to have the freedom of speech that we claim we have. Well, we all know that freedom of speech comes with consequences. But if a comedian is willing to say whatever they're saying, again, listen, I watched it 3 times. I watched the other specials that had me rolling on the floor several times. And nowhere in that commentary did he say they deserve to be, to not live anymore. You got to hurt them. None of that. Okay. So Shannon says facts. T.S. Madison let it roll off her back too. Exactly. I didn't see T.S.'s stance, but that would have been a good reference to kind of see what it was. So anyway, y'all, I wanted to bring this to you so that we can have a conversation. Not necessarily, I am going to talk about the Netflix special, but I want to talk about what's wrong in America. And the fact of it is, we saw it with the last election. We see it. It's a cycle. The tough conversations are not allowed to be talked about, and you're not allowed to have any type of commentary or humor about it. Some things are funny, and some people will have dark humor. Some people will have humor related to stuff that makes you feel uncomfortable. But I think that's what makes society go around. I think that's what helps us deal with things. You know, for someone who's going through cancer, and then for them to have a whole comedy bit about their cancer, you shouldn't cancel that person no more than Dave Chappelle coming out and giving his experience on the transgender community and what that looks like. Now, I watched it 3 times and I said, okay, when it first started out, I noticed that it felt like a more calmer Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle is not necessarily erratic, but it felt, when you watch the show, it felt a little bit like I was with a friend and we were with someone that didn't agree or believe the way we believed, but we all were mature and ready to have the conversation. There was no heckling, there was no boo, there was no nothing. And he was ready to tackle some tough subjects. But also you ever have a situation where, leave a thumbs up, you ever have a situation where you just were closed-minded at one point, but then life or whatever, or just maturity or just having an understanding, you're like, I now see your point of view. And so that's what it felt like. It felt like this comedy show, The Closer, felt like a very mature conversation on some very tough topics with your older brother who knew how to make jokes at the right moment. It was not your comedian, I don't know the word, but with the fast timing and his punchlines, he had you thinking, and then the punchline came and you were like, whoa, and then you laughed. It wasn't minstrel-like, it wasn't disrespectful, and I can tell that the people who are coming after him, they could not have watched that, number one, with the open mind, and number two, they did not watch the whole special. They did not. Why did I say this? Because, like I said, it felt like a hard, tough conversation with someone who was mature and ready to have the conversation and knew how to lighten it up a little bit with their comedy. I do that sometimes. If things get really, really tough and I'm talking or whatever, I'll crack a joke in a minute. And my husband's like, you are so silly. That's what it felt like to me. Dave was not, he even mentioned, so why do I say this? He even mentioned in his show, The Closer, how in his previous shows, he didn't know certain words and terms you can't say. He said, I didn't know you couldn't say the Annie word with the TR attached to it. I didn't know you could say da-da-da-da. Perfect example. And I mean this to no disrespect to anybody. I don't know if you guys realize this, but it is not politically correct to say midget. But if you don't know that, you're going to go up on your comedy. You're going to go on your YouTube channel. You're going to say da-da-da-da, and you're going to say that M-word, which is now offensive to some. But then you have some little people that'll say, I don't want to be called a little person. Call me a whatever. So that's the other part, y'all. It's subjective. But I'm telling you, the people that are giving him the backlash, there's no way they watch this show. There's no way. And it sort of feels like if you've been creating content for over 2 years or at least a year, you have gotten a troll. And I have gotten trolls, and I'm telling you, all they saw was the thumbnail and the person that I talked about that sent them over to my channel. You are da-da-da-da. And I'm like, clearly you didn't watch that. Clearly you didn't. So I think ultimately he's getting backlash because he mentioned a certain word, transgender. He mentioned a lot of stuff that he understood and didn't understand, and they didn't listen. And in order for us to grow as a nation, listen, if you're looking for a secluded conversation, a divisive conversation, that's not this channel. If you want to grow as your people, as our people, but as Americans, we have got to begin to have the tough conversations, the uncomfortable conversations, but not from a standpoint of wanting to respond, but from wanting to understand. Because here's the thing, whether we like it or not, whether you like it or not, if you are a transgender male or female, you got to understand that that goes against the social construct of our country in the sense of it's not common. And I've said it before on my channel, if you're doing something that's not common, expect not necessarily backlash, but expect people to say, I don't even understand what's going on. Help me understand. You're going to get joked about and everything else. Think about interracial marriage. That's common nowadays. Shout out to my babies. But there was a time where that was what was trending in society as far as this new thing, and that's what they would label it as. Now the white people are going to the black people. Now my black people are going, and we're still, some of y'all are still mad about it and still having this conversation. But the truth of the matter is it needed to have conversations and more conversations, not just in your family, not just among your friends group, but also within society in order for it to become, quote, the norm and acceptable. And now people can joke about it all the time. Interracial dating, that's a joke that it's not even whatever. But there's something very significant about the LGBTQIA community in that it appears, and I'm gonna talk more about Dave's special because he kind of confirmed it, and then he had a perfect story to go along with this. It appears that, okay, for lack of a better term, we have our agenda, we have our rights. And don't question it, don't talk about it or whatever, unless you are in 100% full support. And in your full support, just support, don't say nothing else about it. That's not how life works, friends. That is not how, we're going to continue to clash. And that is the point of Dave's show. Until we are all able to be in the same room and have these conversations, it's going to continue to be uncomfortable. It's going to continue to feel a certain way because no one's leading with love. So in Dave's special, I had a brain freeze there. In Dave's special, he talks about Daphne and he gives us a very moving story. It's not even all about transgender. Like, he talks about other things, but as he was closing, he talks about Daphne. Daphne was someone that he met. Long story short, Daphne was a comedian and a transgender female. And again, Dave even joked about him being able to use the pronouns and how he is rocking out the pronouns. But he said when he met her and all the other stories, he was unaware. He wasn't evolved. But he still joked about it. There's nothing wrong with it. So anyway, he talks about Daphne. And him and Daphne met or whatever, and she opened for him a few times or whatever. But and I hate to spoil this, so spoiler alert, I'm going to tell you. So anyway, in their relationship, so they met on a professional level, but then she bombed. It was terrible. But in being terrible, that same night that she was terrible, they were at an after party, so to speak, and Daphne killed it. Paul Mooney was there laughing it up. Dave Chappelle, everybody was there laughing it up. And Dave was like, listen, you're really funny. I'm going to take you under my wings. Every time I'm in this part of California, you're going to open for me and I'm going to coach you. So they had a relationship. So here we are, alleged transphobic Dave Chappelle now takes a transgender woman under the wings. Did you get any type of media about that? Mm-mm. Does he get any kudos for that? Mm-mm. Do you recognize his growth in that? I do. Now, like he said, it doesn't mean that he understands it all. He understood it all. But what it allowed him to do is to have a conversation an open conversation. And he and her, he said that they were able to ask each other and talk about everything. And one of the things Daphne said was, I don't need you to agree. I don't need you to any of those things. Now, here's the thing. Daphne's different because I do think a lot of them want you to agree. But Daphne told him, she said, I don't need you to agree, co-sign, or anything. I just want you to acknowledge that I'm a human and I'm having a human experience. I was like, I can do that, Daphne. I can do that. And Dave Chappelle was like, I can do that. You are absolutely a human. And they began to this was over the course of, I don't know how long, but they began to have a really close relationship. And he was a friend. Well, Dave Chappelle does the special, and I'm over my time a little bit, but hang in there. We're getting somewhere. Dave Chappelle does the special, and he gets backlash again. And he's like, what the hell? Like, I'm not that what you're calling me. Daphne comes in support of Dave Chappelle. She tweets out, leave him alone, because that's not what this is. He is not a bigot. He's not this. Y'all know what happened? The community started bullying and coming after Daphne. And what Dave Chappelle called that it's a bold move when you go against your tribe, when you go against your people to support someone who doesn't fit in that community. So Dave Chappelle, of course, was thankful to Daphne and all of that. And she was bullied to the point where she found a building, climbed it, and jumped off. And here's the thing. I'm saying it the way I'm saying it, God rest her soul. But Dave made an awesome joke. His timing was impeccable in this. It really, really was. And so as deep of a moment that was, you understood from a distance. But anyway, you understood. He was so hurt by that because that was his friend. And they found through conversation, through community, through communion, the human experience of being able to empathize. So then that segued him to talking about empathy. I got my notes here. So again, I don't know. Everything about this special was positive. Now, did he drop F-bombs, P-bombs, and all? Absolutely. That's Dave. It's comedy. So I don't understand because if I go to Paul Mooney show, I know what I'm going to get. If I go to Simone, if I go to Monique, if I go to Steve Hart, and then if I go to the Christian church down the street, I know what I'm going to get from Kev on stage. So the fact that he talks about empathy, and then he goes on to say, empathy is not gay. I'm reading my notes. He said it's not gay, it's not black, it's bisexual. When I tell you this man had jokes, but okay, he's probably watching because I see that he's changing the colors behind me, which I don't know why he's doing right now. But shout out to Mr. B because he watched the show first. And he kept saying, when he got done, he was like, this man is a genius. And I was like, genius? Smart? Because I do know Dave is smart. He is not ignorant. He said, no, he's a genius. Watch the series. And I was like, genius, come on, genius. Y'all, B, I know you're watching. That was genius. That was genius. That set was genius because he took something very dark. He took something very controversial, something very trending, turned it into a set. He was true to his beliefs. He was true to his punchlines, but then we were able to transcend our minds to be open, but not only just open, because here's the thing. I'm going to tell you, he wasn't like reprimanding his audience and saying, hey, treat trans people right. That's not what he said. It was more so where the people got the snippet from, they got it completely wrong. So I'm going to tell you what people did. They took the part after this whole story, and he said, please stop punching down on my people. And the trans community and critics took that and they thought he was talking about something else. And I want to suggest that he wasn't talking about what y'all think he was talking about. In his relationship with Daphne, Daphne was talking about a lot of the punchlines, a lot of the stories, the way people see the trans community, the LGBTQIA community, however you want to say it, not however you want to say it, the community, it felt like punches. You're punching them down. And that's what it was. So Dave Chappelle's rebuttal was, well, listen, this will be the last special, but not only will this be the last special, this is the last time I'm going to talk to you guys, talk about you guys, make a joke about you guys. In essence, I'm paraphrasing. He said, because y'all not ready. You're not ready. Then he goes on to say, it's over. He said, until I know when I make a joke, we're laughing together, I'm done. And then he said, but I got one caveat for you. Please stop punching. Don't. Then he goes on to talk about who his people were. He mentioned Kevin Hart. He mentioned, and that's when the baby came up, the baby earlier. He mentioned Kevin Hart. He mentioned comedians and entertainers. Those are his people. Now, granted, of course, Black people are his people. But read the room of what he's talking about. That's why it's disjointed when you guys are listening to different people making snippets and they're like, what does that have to do with that? No, he is talking about Black people, I'm sure. But ultimately, he's saying, as much as you want us to stop punching you down, stop messing with my entertainer and comedy friends. If you're liking my channel, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to this channel, and don't forget to hit the notification bell. Right now, do it. Right now, do it. If you're just joining in or you're catching the replay, welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Melissa Byrd. We are ending and rounding out our conversation about Dave Chappelle. And so I ended with my punchline. That's what he's talking about. Until we can be in the room, friends, and we can talk about sex, love, violence, being Black, being white, being Chinese, being Arabic. Arabic. I hate that word. Just don't do right on my mouth. Being gay, multicultural, interracial dating. Until we all can be in the same room, that's why I wore my chain, y'all. Having a respectful, loving conversation about all these issues, while we're welcoming people like me, people like Dave Chappelle, who knows how to take a very serious moment and find a joke in it, we're not going to go anywhere. That's what he meant. You got to watch the whole thing. He said, please stop punching down on my people. Basically, please allow us to say our jokes. Please allow Kevin Hart to host the Emmys or the Tonys, whatever it was. This is what he said. Please stop punching down on my people. And then he went to the story about how he would trade, and I might be putting it out of order, but I'm giving you a paraphrase. I'm summarizing the show. And that's where he was like, I'll do this for you, but please do not cancel the baby. That's where that came from. And ultimately, all people did was look at those snippets. Please don't cancel the baby. Please don't punch down on my people. Please don't da-da-da. And they did not look at the whole thing. So I encourage you, as you watch this, as you're watching this, and you have not watched the Dave Chappelle, The Closer on Netflix, and you've already formed an opinion about Dave Chappelle as a result of this, as a result of the snippets, I encourage you to go back. It was phenomenal. And again, shout out to Mr. B, because he was like, that man is a genius. Because it takes a genius to be able to take a tough conversation, as I'm doing, okay? No, I'm just kidding. But it takes a genius to be able to take a tough conversation, to confidently discuss it and then give you a punchline behind it. And the problem seems to be people aren't even listening to even have the conversation, because we're trying to deny people of their personal human experience. And I had to learn that in the sense of, I don't have to agree. I don't have to co-sign. But just like poly is someone's polyamorous is someone's human experience, so are all these other things that are controversial, and really you don't have to carry it around in your back pocket. You don't. But allow the entertainment to continue. That is my thing. I think I'm going to come back on Friday and we'll continue this conversation. If you have any questions about this, if you want me to delve a little bit, what do you think about this concerning that, I'm going to have a post on my community tab. And I think I'm going to include this because I see your comments. I'm going to get to some of them, but I want us to continue to have the conversation, because I think that, right now is the LGBTQIA community. Before, like I said, it was interracial dating. Before that, it was women being able to vote. Before that, it was Christians. Before that, it was slavery. I want to continue this conversation on Friday, because I'll see you guys on Friday again. But again, make sure that you leave a comment on my community tab. Okay? Kombucha says you aren't allowed to disagree with people anymore about anything. No conversation, no educational opportunity. You're just automatically a terrible person. It's exhausting. You see what I mean? And Kombucha, the truth of the matter is, when you watch his special, he has matured so much concerning his conversation around this. And as a result, he wants to have the conversation, but he also wants to be able to joke about it, And I think he should be, and he has had conversations with people, but he also wants to be able to joke about it. Like, you are absolutely correct, because I even thought about it when I was preparing this. I was like, the truth of the matter is, if you were to say, you know what, I don't think Caitlyn Jenner should have wore that dress. Or I think she looks terrible as a female. Oh my God, you get the backlash out of this world. But you can also say, I think that Black lady shouldn't wear those clothes. Or I think that white woman shouldn't da-da-da-da-da-da. Herein lies the problem. So again, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you comment. I'm not going to get to all you guys' comments. I don't want to hold you, but we will be back. But not only will we be back, I'm going to go through your comments and we'll discuss this on Friday, along with other things. As always, my friends, especially dealing with the topic like this, you can agree, disagree, and everything, but comedy and entertainment is, come on. In the words of Dave Chappelle, because as a content creator, I'm one of his people. As a Black person, I'm one of his people. But I think, again, caveat, y'all missed that point. He wasn't talking about Black people. He was talking about entertainers, comedians, and whatever. Because you got to hear what Daphne said, and then you got to hear what he said. And in the words of Dave Chappelle, please stop punching down on my people. And I agree. Let the comedy do what it's going to do. So, as always, my friends, make sure you be kind to people for absolutely no reason. Oh, I didn't tell y'all what happened to Daphne. I ain't gonna tell you. Well, I did tell you. I told y'all. Never mind. I told you. Okay. I was gonna say, yeah. Because when I was saying be kind to other people, because you never know what they're going through. So anyway, be kind, because you never know what people are going through for absolutely no reason. I will see you guys again on Friday at 7:00 Eastern Standard Time. In the meantime, bye-bye.